Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Round Robin. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with Christine Mulligan, Nina Mulligan, Angela Sinclair, and of course, my husband, Todd Preston. Hey, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Howdy.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
So, it's a new year.
It's a new year.
It's a new year, and with that comes a new Round Robin. So, we're just gonna, bullshit with you and let you guys know how crazy our conversations can get. Only wine.
I'm all wind up.
She's all wind up and ready to go.
It's not a song. Wind me up. Wind me up. No?
I don't think I've ever heard that. Keep going.
I'm wind and I'm wound. Okay. Keep going. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. So, we do record the show about 2 days early. And so when the show does air, it will be the new year.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but I have never gone out on New Year's Eve. I never will. It's too dangerous. People are drinking. They're on the roads. I don't like it. I don't do it. What about you guys?
I used to back when I was younger, but it got real tiresome because, at least here in Michigan, the weather's not really all that good this time of year. So, and the parties always seem to be like really far away. And I was like, you know what? I've been drinking. The roads are shit. I think I'm staying home from now on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So what about you, Angela? Do you guys ever gone out? Have you ever gone out on New Year's Eve?
Oh, I have many, many times, but the last couple of years we just been staying at home and it's nice.
Yeah.
Just relax.
Yeah, I like it. I like to stay home and stay safe. But I always thought it would be fun to be in a fancy, like one of those big fancy parties with all the confetti.
Like a ballroom.
Yeah, like where you get really
Yeah.
fancy, get dressed up.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. I think they do something like that in Detroit.
Yeah, kind of a black tie and dress.
Yeah, like in one of the really nice hotels.
Yeah.
That I would do because we're not out and about.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Right.
And
if
then
you could just go up to your room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do for concerts now.
Oh, that's a good
Just
idea.
rent a hotel room. Yep.
That's a good idea. So, Nina, what are you doing? Are you going to karaoke it on New Year's Eve?
I don't know. I think we're going by the kids for a little bit and doing that with them. And then we also have another friend who's throwing a little housewarming, like, coming out party for him and his boyfriend. So this is the first time we'll get to meet the boyfriend. So that's exciting. But other than that, we're pretty low key. I always spend it with my kids in one way, shape, or another. But years ago, when my kids were little and I was in school, when they were all babies, for a couple of years in a row, I used to cater for big fancy parties.
Say what?
What?
Yeah, I used to cater for big fancy parties. So it was kind of like my way to go to those big fancy parties without having to pay the $500 it was per head to get into the party. So they were fun.
Cool.
And I would like ring in the new year with all of my coworkers, like right at midnight, we'd all huddle either in a corner of the room or backstage somewhere, and we'd, whip it up for a minute and then go back out and deal with the peeps. I think one time my ex and we went to a hotel and we did one of the big parties at the hotels and we stayed in a room. So I've done it a few times, but most of the time I just spend it with my kids. Ever since my kids have been teenagers until now, and they're all in their mid-20s, we always spend it together. One of them will have a big party. Some of their friends will come and we'll be there and we whoop it up with them. Yeah, because I was a married mom at 19. So I didn't do any of the festivities and things that you do when you're in your 20s and 30s with your friends and shit like that. I totally missed out on all of that. I've never had like one of those epic New Year's Eve kind of situations with confetti and all that kind of stuff. It's always just been family. And yeah, family.
Yeah.
I've done a couple, but family's better. I'm not going to lie. Family and close friends is way better than a family.
Yeah.
Do.
Yep.
Well, those are the people that mean the most to us, right? And Christine, I just learned something about you that I never knew before. You're a caterer? What the hell?
What's that? What'd you learn?
That you were a caterer.
Yeah, I was a bartender for a catering company.
Huh. So you were slinging drinks then.
Yeah, wrestling and drinks, the fun stuff.
Okay. That I can see. I'm like, that bitch is not in her kitchen whipping up some fucking food. Not that you can't cook because
There were
you're.
chefs. Like it was Universal Studios was the catering company that I worked for, so it was big VIP
Oh.
corporate. Sometimes, one time, actually, one of the parts, and like big people, like famous people would perform and stuff. One time it was, what's her face? Fergalicious. Fergalicious.
Fergalicious. Ah.
Do you remember that? The cheerleader, or whatever. The cheerleader will save them or something. You remember that show where?
Pantier?
Yes. Meanwhile, she was a child back then. And when I say child, she was young.
Yeah, she was like 19.
And she was at the party and she was drunk as a skunk. And there were a couple of muckety mucks from Universal that were just like, she needs to go. She needs to get out of here. And they hushed her out of there so quick. Yeah.
Oh.
And it wasn't even near midnight. And she was drunk as a skunk. And she was like all of 16, maybe.
Oh.
Wow.
But now I am.
Goodness.
Actress.
I think she was 19 at the time, but she still would have been underage. But she had a substance abuse problem for a long time, so that's surprising.
That's insane. I didn't know all that about her, but she was at one of those. There were a lot. I rubbed elbows with a lot of muckety muck, but I don't know any of them. And I'm from New York, so I was never one of those starstruck kind of people. I think it's like a New Yorker thing. Famous people are just regular people. Even though you look, oh, it's cool to see them, you don't get all like, oh my God.
Right. Well, because you see them, like, I remember being in New York City, walking through Greenwich Village, and this is when the Twin Towers were still up. It was my first time in New York. I'd gone with a friend of mine named Stephanie. And so she was kind of, teaching me the ropes, like, don't look at the people who are begging. Don't interact with them. Don't give them any money. Just keep going, straightforward, this and that. So that's what I was doing, and it felt like really weird because where we grew up, we don't have panhandlers in our little town. And there might be some now, but I don't think I've ever seen any. Anyway, the stories that the panhandlers are throwing at you are really heart-wrenching, and this one guy, because I didn't look at him, but I kind of saw him in my periphery, and, the sob story, I don't even remember, but it was bad. And, just begging for $1, just begging for $1. And all of a sudden it was like, yo, Bill Murray, give me $100. And I was like, oh my God, we just walked by Bill Murray just passed us and I didn't even see him because I'm focusing.
Oh my goodness.
Trying not to get mugged.
Well, I got to party with a lot of big musicians when I was out in California. I went to that party in L.A. and Sebastian Bach was there, Alice Cooper, Glenn Danzig, all of Motley Crue was there except for Vince Neil. And we're just partying with these people like we've always known them. And it was weird because before we went to this party, we put away all of our personal stuff and left it in the limousine so we didn't have to worry about it. And then we're at this party and nobody's got a camera.
What year is this?
This was 1991.
Okay,
Yep.
so you were a Marine at that point.
Yep.
So what party is this?
It was just a party we just happened to get invited to. We had been there. It was like a long weekend, and nothing was really going on. And we went to this bar, and a buddy of mine was flirting with one of the waitresses, and she says, well, come back to my apartment afterwards. We're going to have a party. And she knew all these musicians because she worked at another place where after they had these gigs, they'd all go back and they'd just have these big after parties after their gig.
Well, that sounds like a good time.
It was pretty fun.
Just hit my microphone.
Wow.
That's super fancy. Well, let's see. Tears for Fears, like not the little guy, the bigger guy.
Yeah.
I saw him at a bar in New York, and the drummer from Poison.
Oh.
Well, didn't talk to him, of course, but my eyeballs saw his eyeballs.
I saw Woody Harrelson at Fuddruckers.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
I love
That's
Fuddruckers.
cool.
Yeah.
Not the other day.
You had it just the other day.
No, I said we were talking about it the other day. I was like, I miss Fuddruckers.
I was going to say, I think they're all closed.
They did because they didn't keep the meat at the temperature they were supposed to, and like a lot of people got sick.
Ah, see, I got sick there one time too.
Well, that
Yeah.
explains it. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen Shaq. He was at Steak and Shake one time. And then I passed Matthew McConaughey on the courthouse steps in New Iberia, Louisiana, where I lived for 15 years. And he was actually with another celebrity, but I can't, like, I can picture this guy because he's like in all the mob movies and stuff, but I cannot,
Joe
I don't know
Pesci?
his name. No, what he's kind of like more of, he's not an A-lister, but he's in A-list movies, but he's like the B-lister in an A movie. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
No, I don't know his name, but I never want to like invade their space.
Mhm.
So I acknowledged that he was there, and I was like, "Hey, it's a nice day today, isn't it?" And he goes, "Yeah, yes, indeed." You know Matthew McConaughey. He's
All right, all right, all right.
I know, yes, indeed. You know? And I just kept walking, so that was kind of cool.
I've run into quite a few celebrities throughout the years, but my favorite one ever was Danny Aiello. I saw him a few times. I think it was back when I was going to school. I went and took a class over the summer at FIT when I was a kid. So he must have like lived by there or something, because I've seen him a couple times. And then one day I was in a corner deli, bodega, whatever you want to call it. And he walked in and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I got to say, you're really cool. That's all I'm going to say. And I was walking away from him and he was like, hey. He was like, why? That's all you're going to say to me? And then we had like a little conversation. I vaguely remember it. And then I walked away and I was like, you know what? That guy is just the coolest guy I've ever known. And then I talked about him a few days later with someone else that apparently lived near him. And they said he was genuinely like that all the time. Like he was just chill all the time. And he lived in like a very modest area and he was never flashy. And Danny Aiello used to be like
Who is that?
cream of the crop. It's an old actor. He was big in the 70s and 80s.
I mean, the name sounds familiar.
He was in a lot of the mob movies. He's the Italian guy that had the blonde hair and blue eyes.
He has blonde hair and blue eyes, and
probably
it's not the person I'm thinking of.
Well, it's like a dirty blonde. It's like a light brown
Is he?
hair.
No, I'm seeing someone else in my mind. I'm seeing like a dark haired guy, kind of like with pop marks on his face.
No, that's Danny Trejo. I've actually talked to him. I wrote him one time and told him how much I loved anything he was in. He's just always so great. And he wrote me back and he's like, thanks, I really appreciate that. That's so cool. I'm like,
No,
he was
I
in some movie. He was like in a movie and it was about like they were in prison and they had to build race cars and whoever won the race got to get out of prison, and it was like dystopian kind of setting or whatever. And I thought for sure this is going to be the dumbest movie on the planet. But I tell you, like everything he's in, I just love it. I don't know. It ended up being like a really great movie.
he
But I
is
just like
cool.
him.
He is cool. Now I have to know, how did you get his address?
I just went to like his, like I looked him up on the internet and he had kind of like a fan page kind of thing. And it was like, contact me or whatever.
Really?
So I just wrote him like a little email and I was like, dude, like I saw this movie. It was like super cool. I thought it was going to be dumb, but you like really made it awesome. And I just love all the stuff you're in. And he took the time to write me back, which I thought was really neat.
That is super cool. Aw, I'm glad we started talking about famous people we'd have never known.
But who are you saying? Who is this guy now? He's blonde hair, blue eyes. Like,
Danny Aiello. He's not blonde
Aiello.
hair. It's like
Oh.
dirty brown. Danny Aiello. He was
know
in
that
a
name.
lot of mob movies and stuff.
Okay.
Todd's got to look it up for me because I know that name as well, Christine. And
Yeah,
it's,
it sounds like a name I know.
Yeah, he's really cool. He was, what's his name? Oh my God. He was the Keanu Reeves before Keanu Reeves. Like Keanu Reeves is the same way. He lives low key. I mean, yeah, he's filthy rich, but he lives low key. He lives normal. He lives well within his means, and he's just super chill. He does things. He goes food shopping. He goes to the delis by himself. You know what I mean?
A lot to charity too. He's a
I've
fan.
heard.
Yeah.
And his
Yeah.
wife is older than him. He doesn't chase like those, 19-year-old things. Like he's never been in a scandal. I hear he's
Right, like-
actually super nice.
That's what I mean. Danny Aiello was the Keanu Reeves of his time. Like, just very chill, very normal, not full of himself, not big-headed, nothing like that.
Okay, so Todd just showed me a
Unlike-
picture, and that is who I thought it was.
Yeah.
I've always
super
liked
cool.
him as an actor. Yeah. Well, that's
No, he's a super cool human being too.
That's
Not
cool.
that I've like hung out with him or anything, but you know what I mean. He was just super chill. And
yeah.
I've seen him a couple times, and he never looked like he had an air about him. However, I have met a few celebrities and D-list celebrities that act a damn fool. So it's luck of the draw.
It's like you're the D list.
You told me on New Year's that you used to hang out with Carrot Top.
Oh, and it wasn't New Year's. Carrot Top and I used to have brunch together every year for Orlando Pride. We went to the same restaurant and we had tables next to each other. So I quasi know him, and I do see him at the local Yokel gay bar from time to time because he is a resident of Orlando most of the time. And I do quasi know him. And he's a nice guy. I don't mean to be mean. He's a little bit weird looking, but let's just say he's eccentric.
Yes, that's a good word for him.
But he's nice.
Yeah.
He's eccentric, but he's nice.
Cool.
I mean, he can be a prick, though. I've heard. But I've never seen that side of him personally.
Yeah, I remember when he came out because he had the big curly red hair and he was like super skinny, but now this dude is buff as shit. I don't know if he's dropping steroids or what, but he's a big
Still
dude.
up. Yeah. I think some of that is surgically enhanced.
Oh, like his face and everything, because his face is
Muscles.
big.
The
Or,
muscles.
oh, you think he had
his face,
implants?
He definitely has had some facial surgery, but he has some enhanced muscleage. I don't want to dress up, but he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy and all, but I just remember thinking, no, you were just a skinny boy.
I get accused of having enhanced muscles too. So
Yeah. Well, you gotta take it for what it's worth. Like, Carrot Top became famous when he was really in the thick of his fame. He was in Vegas, so he was like the male version of a showgirl. You know what I mean? So he really did himself up when plastic surgery was all the rage,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all doing it. He definitely indulged.
Okay.
So right.
It's
But he's a nice guy.
And speaking of that, I mean, have you guys seen like pictures of people who get all these crazy muscle implants? Like this one guy looked like the Michelin Man. He was so implanted. He had big implants in his chest, ginormous implanted biceps. Like it was bizarro looking.
That's weird.
Yeah, like you guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen people,
Yeah,
men
yeah.
that do that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does look bizarre.
it gets real creepy.
I always wonder,
Yeah.
like, how is that going to work long term? I mean, like, when you're 70.
It's going to be
What is that?
encapsulated and calcified and weird looking.
But it's like your own tissue is not going to be strong enough to hold that big ass cut. You're going to have, like, your pecs down by your belly button.
No, what happens is adhesions and calcifications form around the implants wherever they are, whether they're boobies or a chin or calf muscles or whatever, and they kind of get encapsulated in your skin, and they like fuse, so to speak, with the tissue around it.
Can you imagine, though, like, let's just step out for a second and become anthropologists like 100 years from now? Because all of the bodies are going to have the weirdest shit still left in them. Because none of that stuff's going to biodegrade. So it's going to be like a skeleton with like a bunch of plastic cutlets in a coffin.
But do you think they're going to think they were in the body, or do you think they're going to think they were like tools that we use?
I have no idea, but that's my point.
Like, is this what they use?
Such a weird story.
Like, is this what they used for a spoon? A booby implant?
Well, that's why, like, when women get implants, like, they have to massage that shit all the time.
Yeah,
And
you have
I've-
to keep it viable.
Yeah, and I've known girls who had them where they don't do that, and they get hard as a rock, and they go in there, and the doctor basically puts their boob in a vice. Pop!
wow,
Yeah, they got to squeeze it really hard to break that encapsulation.
Jesus.
Okay, I'm
I've
grossed
had
out
patients-
now.
Well, I've just changed my mind about getting an implant.
Yeah.
I've had patients that have had implants back when probably they first started doing them. I guess, when they became popular in the late 70s and early 80s. And they're old women. I've had about 4 or 5 old women where their booby implants just feel like hard oranges.
Mm.
Like just underneath the skin, and the skin is just draped over it. So it's like, it almost looks like a tumor.
Yeah.
And they weren't in the proper places either. Like one was a little bit lower than the other in most of those cases. And they were hard. You couldn't move them anymore. They were there.
That was one of my surgical rotations as well. So we've talked about where, the one where I had to disassociate because the guy was getting another above the knee amputation. He already had one. But my other surgery that I saw was an older woman. Now, this is when I lived in Florida, because that's where I went to nursing school. And this chick was a Palm Beacher. This girl had money. All the things, the plastic surgery, the boobs, the face, the lips, the this, the that, the hair, the whole 9 yards. She was probably mid-60s, and she had herself like a 20-something, real handsome young man waiting for her there. But her implants they didn't look hard, but she was there to re-up, right? Because her skin, like you said, Christine, like hung like curtains. Like the skin keeps going downward, but the implant stayed where it was. So they pulled that out, put a new one in, and she went a little bit bigger. And I'm like, all right, that looks better.
Got a little new air in the tires.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is that it didn't look like it had been leaking. Like you would never know by looking at her when they were prepping her. But when he got in there and pulled out the old implant, there was a bunch of silicone goo that he was sucking out of her as well. So I'm like, oh God, that's nerve-wracking.
That breaks my heart. The things that we know now about silicone and the way it leaks in the body and the way it attacks the lymph system, it's really, really sad, because some people that have silicone in their bodies, like, it's not just the implants. Some people back in the day used to inject silicone as filler. And that silicone leaches through your system. The endocrine system the lymph system will pull it in, because the lymph system, that's what it does. It kind of flushes stuff around your body and purifies stuff around your body. That's its job. And it would take in the silicone, and people were getting diseases that they couldn't figure out what it was. Unbeknownst to those that were doing it, it's a silicone-based disease that you really can't ever get rid of. It's really sad. It's really painful and debilitating.
I know a lady that's going through that right now. She had the silicone implants, and then like a chip or something came off her rib and punctured it, and she never knew. And then all of a sudden she started getting sick, and they were thinking like it was cancer, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They opened her up, and there was just ribbons upon ribbons. It was like spaghetti.
Yeah.
Because it was slowly leaking. So it was like strands, and they had to go in there and scrape it all out of her. And she's always sick.
Yeah.
Always.
How heartbreaking. Do you guys remember that movie? It was about this. It was actually like I believe it was a documentary, Silicon Valley, but it was about the boobs. It was about all the silicone implants. You guys don't remember that?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember that, Christine? Did you ever see that?
I don't think I've seen it.
Damn it. It's an older movie, but it was pretty good. Do you think that, so I know it can get into the lymph system and cause a lot of issues with that, but you don't think it could cross the blood-brain barrier, do you?
I wouldn't imagine it could, but I don't know. I mean, caustic agents do caustic shit, so I don't know. It's kind of heartbreaking that so many people were sucked into that.
Yeah.
For so long. There's very few people that I can think of that I went to school with that don't have artificial titties.
Right.
I mean, back in the early 90s, it was like the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
The new nose job.
Yeah.
I heavily contemplated it. I'm so glad I never did that.
I'm glad you didn't either.
I'm super glad you didn't.
Thank you.
Well, we're glad for different reasons, Tom, but yeah.
His reasons are different than yours. Oh my God. So we had a white Christmas here in Michigan, but it's all gone now.
Yeah, it's been like raining for like 4 days
It
straight.
rained nonstop all day yesterday. So we have green grass. We had a white Christmas and green grass. So I'm glad that's gone.
Yeah.
What about, does anyone on this call ever like do the whole New Year's resolution thing? And if so, is it the same one? Because you can't do it? Or do you make a new one every year? Or do you just say, no, not doing that?
I've never really done the New Year's resolution, but I've always said that I have a New Year's resolution. But I've always been a little bit of a wise ass. You know what I mean? So my New Year's resolutions are always something that I already do. It's just to do more of it
Okay. Like what?
because I'm a cheater schmeater.
I know.
And for the past couple of years, whenever people talk about New Year's resolutions or whatever, I just say, "Oh, I have one. You should adopt my resolution if you don't have one." And that's just to be authentically yourself.
To be authentic to yourself.
Yes, make a resolution to be the best you can be authentically.
I like that because you can't really fail at that.
You can't fail at it. You can't fuck it up. It is what it is, and we're all human, so we all make mistakes.
True. What about you, Angela? Do you make those resolutions or no?
I have in the past, but the last couple of years, it's just basically I'm going to live my life to the fullest and love my family and my friends and, cherish every moment because you never is your last.
That's very
That's
true.
been my thing for the last couple of years.
Well, yours and Christine's are awesome. I'm going to adopt them both. Because I've never
Go right
really,
ahead.
yeah, because I've never really been like, oh, I'm going to start my diet on Monday. Well, I mean, I say that, but fuck, here comes Monday. Next Monday. How about you, Nina?
Well, first of all, I say that every Monday, and it fails. I think for like the past 25 years, my resolution has always been to floss one more day than I did the year before, and
Floss every day.
so by now I should be flossing every day. So I failed at that because I don't. But I do it more than I have the water flosser now, so I do it more than I used to do. The crazy part is that when I had braces for 3.5 years, I flossed every night with braces. But now that I don't have braces, I never freaking floss.
Well, and flossing, when you do it, it feels really good. But my contacts are really tight, my teeth contacts. And so I always hurt myself.
Yeah, it's just not a fun task. It's just, I don't know. One of these days I'll do it and I'll win. But I think now I like the idea of a yearly reset, but I also think like every day that you wake up is a day to do it better. So every day is a New Year's resolution. That's how I'm going to spend this next year. I think last year my whole thing was not posting, not wearing makeup, not doing my nails, and getting like comfortable with just looking at my actual face in the mirror instead of hiding behind the makeup and all that stuff. And that was really actually very difficult. Very, very difficult.
But now you never put makeup on.
But now I never put makeup on because the thing is that the few times that I have put on makeup, I actually feel like it makes me feel worse. I just don't even like it. It makes me feel older. It makes me look older. It pronounces the wrinkles more. Like I see more flaws. So I don't like it. I feel like I look like an old clown.
Well, look at how much you've grown. That's cool.
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So I feel like, maybe I need to find like a happy medium where I can find like some tinted moisturizer and maybe do like, mascara or stuff like that. But I just kind of moved past that. So that was my resolution for last year.
Well, it worked.
And I went through with it. It's been painful, but I went through with it. And I think I'm just going to treat every day like a New Year's resolution day.
Self-discovery is a beautiful thing, when we just learn to be us, which is not an easy task in this world. We're always trying to be or do or be better. I like it. I'm proud of you. That's cool.
I've never had any New Year's resolutions, and it just dawned on me. That's why I'm not seeing any results. I've never put anything out there, so maybe I will. Maybe I will this year.
Yeah, why don't you ponder that one, hon?
Yeah.
I've never really done it, but I'm going to adopt. I'm going with, we're all going to be ourselves this year. Be our best selves by being natural
Yeah.
and loving and kind.
Authentic and kind to everyone.
Yeah.
Come at things. I love this, and I've said it a million times in other podcasts, is come at everything with curiosity instead of judgment. Because I think that's society's biggest flaw right now, is that we're so damn judgy. And everyone fails to realize that every judgment they make is essentially about themselves.
I agree with it because when you said that before, I do remember us having that conversation. And I apparently am one judgy mofo because I'm hard on myself. You know what I mean? I used to be super hard on myself.
There's a lot of judgmental people here in our town, and I know. I can just tell by looking at them.
Okay, Sir Judge Salat.
Mr. and Mrs. Judgy.
Why do I gotta be nice though?
You just gotta be.
I don't think you gotta.
You gotta be
I
kind.
think some people deserve not kindness. I'm sorry. I think being a good person doesn't mean you have to be a nice person. They are not synonymous with each other. They are not in tandem always. I 100% believe that you should direct energy where it belongs. So whatever energy you're giving, you need to give that right back. Because there are some people that don't need kindness.
Yeah, you get nice or you get nothing.
Yeah.
They get correction.
I understand the matching energy bit, and I understand give what you receive and all of that. However, it does take more energy to try and out-snipe someone instead of just walk away. Like Todd just said, I like it. Be nice or get nothing. Be nice or nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to go out of your way to try and put anybody in their place. So to
No,
speak.
I'm not saying go out of your way, but if it happens, you need to put somebody in their face because we have been being silent too long and we have not been calling out bad behavior when we see it as a society. People need to know that it's one thing to be a keyboard warrior, but when you do some foolish shit up in public, we have become very complacent when it comes to correcting that behavior. And I think
I don't disagree with that.
we need a little bit more of, if we're seeing something going on that isn't great, we need to say something. We need to stop it. You know, discrimination or prejudice or bullying, like out in public, I think we've kind of shied away from that. And I don't know. It's like that John Quinones show, What Would You Do? And they, send the actors in and wait for the people to react.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get back to, because shaming somebody in a malicious way is one thing, but having shame keeps you from doing things that aren't right. And so if we allow people to go around and just act a fool and act yucky to people and we don't call it out, then how are we ever going to course correct that? Like, we need to let people know that's yucky and you don't need to be doing that. I'm not saying go out of your way to be a menace to somebody, but I'm saying if you're seeing something out there that ain't right, step up and start saying, hey,
I do agree
right.
with that. I do agree with that. Actually, this is a good topic, and this might be a little too touchy for the podcast. I might get some hate mail for this, so let's see what happens. Okay, so I have been told recently, and I hear it recently, it's kind of like it's the hot topic a little bit for feminism or feminist discussions about it's all men until it's not all men. Is that how it goes? It's all men until it's not all men. And I was like, well, what the hell does that mean? That's just some frou-frou shit you're telling me. Like, that doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't give me anything to work on, right? So what does that mean? It's all men until it's not all men. And I guess, for women to be afraid of, or for women to, when they were talking about the whole women want to be with a bear instead of a man in the woods and all that stuff. Some of it I can understand and I can apply to my life and my reasoning skills. Some of it, I'm just like, I feel like you're getting a little too crazy. Like, sometimes I feel like, maybe that's too much. But then it hit me. I think what they mean by it's all men until it's not all men, I believe it should actually be turned into it's all humans until it's not all humans. And that goes back to the judgment and telling other people what they should do and how they should be and how they need to live and all of that. It's all humans until it's not all humans. Because it's not just men that make, I don't know, workplaces hostile or that make dark alleys dangerous. It's not just men. Women backstab and ankle bite each other in the professional workspace. That should stop. So that's not men, that's women. It's all humans until it's not all humans. So collectively, we have to do better. And the first step in doing better is live and let live. Don't put your expectations and your societal norms onto anyone else. Keep them to yourself and live by them tried and true. But don't be going try to spread it. But then we run into the whole that's literally the basis of some things in this world is to brainwash and then send the minions out there to try and brainwash other people. So it's a catch-22. I'm officially rambling too much. Does any of that make sense to anyone else?
I've never even heard that before. Never.
When it's all men until it's not all men?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that the movement is, and I think domestic violence and, rape and things like that. So when you have a group of men and let's say there's 10 of them and 2 of them are talking about how they're going to, get up on this girl and run this game and do that stuff, or look at that bitch over there, or, oh, this girl was such a slut. Like all of these like sorts of talks that is supposed to be guy talk. Well, the thing is that when you hear that sort of thing from your peers as other men, then if you're a good guy, you should not allow your male friends to talk about women like that. You shouldn't be joking around about raping women. You shouldn't be joking around about, oh, well, how do you know that he told her to shut up a second time? She's got 2 black eyes. Like that sort of humor or like harassment in the group. If you are there and you're their friend and you don't call them out on that and tell them to stop that shit, then you're part of the problem. So it is all men until it's not all men. So the men who are staying silent, maybe they're not raping, but they're also not calling out their friends who might be raping because they like to talk about that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I'm glad you kind of detailed that out for me because I just couldn't, I didn't know. So thank you.
Because it's a lot. It's like a lot.
It isn't just about men, is what she's saying.
I don't feel like it's just about men.
People, we need to stop being mean to each other.
And we need to speak up when something is unacceptable. Yeah. That's where I was agreeing with that, how I went off on that tangent. So if I'm in a boardroom and we're having a meeting and someone starts to joke about something that's kind of inappropriate, normally, because I'm not the highest person in that board meeting, I giggle, shift in my chair, and possibly even leave the room if I feel uncomfortable with it. Well, those are the kind of things that I'm no longer going to do. I'm going to start asking, well, why? Well, why do you think it's okay to say that? Well, why do you think it's okay to do that? Why do you think that's funny? And how would you feel if then? Do you know what I mean? Like, because all humans, if we keep letting chaos reign, even if we're uncomfortable with it, and we never speak up and speak out to the discomfort, then we're part of the problem.
I agree. Now more than ever, we all really need to step that shit up because shit's about to go down.
But even the see something, say something premise, right? Like the see something, say something premise is based on, well, we all know it for the terrorist things, right? So if you see a backpack, call 911 and say there's a backpack there unattended. Like that was the main example they give. But just like that Quinones show, what is it again?
What would you do?
What would you do? That's a perfect kind of thing. If you see something, say something. So I know for me, if I saw a woman getting abused, I wouldn't just turn around and act like it was the 1970s or 80s or anywhere before then and mind my business and that's their marital affair. No, I would interject and I would be like, what in the hell do you think you're doing? Do you know what I mean? Or I would get in the middle and make a fuss until other people got involved. If I saw a woman getting beat by her husband, I wouldn't care that it was her husband. I would get in the middle. Whereas society, circa 20 years ago, we would all turn around and be like, that's their business. Now, for some reason, we're totally fine with stopping abuse, but we want to tell other people how to live at the same time. That stuff blows my mind.
Agreed. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's bananas.
Yep, totally bananas. Say something, say something.
Hey, we need to talk about what we're going to do. We're going to get the Rock Band game out again.
Oh, yeah, we are going to rock out.
We're going to rock
Band.
out, and we're going to intentionally.
What?
Yeah, I'm the drummer.
Yeah, hopefully it's not so cold we can open up the door, because I think our neighbors would really like to hear us playing again.
I think they would love it.
Yeah.
Our wonderful, wonderful neighbors across the street. They're so bad. They are so bad. But yeah, man, we rock it out. We'll have 3-hour sessions.
Yeah.
And I feel like a rock star.
And Angela, you would probably really appreciate this. I get blisters because I rock so hard.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He has to tape his fingers.
Yeah.
He's got that one
That's
damn
so
lever.
cool.
He bangs the shit out of it. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, the whammy bar.
Have you guys ever played Rock Band? It's so fun.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I used to play when my kids were little.
I watched somebody play once.
You guys got it. We found it on Amazon, I think. We found a used set because you can't find that shit new anymore.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's like so wicked expensive. It's nuts. But yeah, that's what we'll do.
Now, I used to be phenomenal on Slow Ride Expert. I was an expert at Slow Ride on the guitar.
Magic woman.
On Rock Band, it has the guitar has 4 buttons,
Yeah.
and each button is a different chord. And the screen in front of you kind of shows you the music how it's playing, but it's like a track, like a high school track, a picture of a high school track, and then
Right.
the line, it's like the reel, the track as if you're running on it, and the line will show you which colors you have to do.
Okay.
And it starts out, one color at a time. But then it's like
Nice
2
and
colors
easy.
at a time, 3 colors at a time, and you're like,
So Angela, when you play Rock Band, do you play the bass?
I did not. I played the guitar actually.
Oh,
which
okay.
is weird.
Yeah, I kind of like to flip flop back and forth between the bass and guitar. I like playing bass better because that's what I used to play. But
Well, the bass is much cooler, man.
yeah. Oh my gosh. And I got to tell you, Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden is the most insane song to try and play bass to.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I can just imagine.
I'm trying.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, there's a song by Lauren and I, because this is my second Rock Band kit. I had one when my oldest daughter was younger, like when it first came out. And Lauren was awesome on the guitar. I was always the drummer, though. And Tall Grasses, something Tall Grasses, that song, whatever it is, it's harder than shit. And we worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. We finally got it. We got it once. And we're like, we're never playing that song again. And now I got to remember the rest of the name of that song. But, oh, my God, it was horrible. So that's what we're going to do.
That's a fun New Year's plan.
Yeah, just make a bunch of nashis and we'll just graze all day.
Yeah, we might watch a movie or two here and there. And
Just be cool.
oh, I'm going to break out the massage table, too.
That's what I'm talking
Wow.
about.
Yep.
By the time everybody's listening to this, you would have already played your little hearts out and
That's
knocked
true.
your faces off. Because it is Happy New Year!
Yeah.
It's your New Year's Day! Right now!
Yeah.
As we speak.
Yeah. As people are listening. That's right.
Future.
Is the future. Oh, by the way,
11 days
days and counting. No, it was 12 days. Yeah.
For what?
For what?
Until the most important day of the year.
Oh, her birthday.
Aww,
Aw.
Nina's birthday.
Yeah, but actually, Olivia's birthday comes before mine. She was the New Year's baby for our parish in Louisiana. So come the first, she'll be 18. And I'm done. I made it. They're both over the age of 18, and I'm not a grandmother yet. I'm so excited.
You made it.
I'm older than my mom was when I made her a grandma. So look at me. I'm breaking the curse.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, my daughter's almost 30. I still don't have any babies. At this stage in the game, I need a baby to love and give back. That's what I want to do. I want to have
You
that.
can borrow mine.
I'm almost craving it. It's like, I see people and they're like, oh, my grandkids. And I see them, like my neighbor down the street. She's got the cutest little great grandbaby. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to love on a little baby again. And then bye. I don't want to keep them all the time. Just for a while. All right, everyone. Well, let's make it official.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hold on. Todd's got something for us. So there it is, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Be your best authentic self.
Yeah.
No diets on Monday.
No diets on Monday. Forget diets. Just be good to yourselves.
Just be good to yourself and be kind to your neighbors. I love you guys.
Yep.
I love you guys. Happy New Year.
You too.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
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 Bye.